Hello, welcome to another Content Breaker podcast with me, strangely entertaining, and Static Dreads. Say hello.
Jotunheim.
Close enough. This week we're continuing our Power Rangers little. I don't even know what you would call it. But this week we're going to talk about Megazords, which Static Dreads is very excited to talk about. This is his favorite topic in the universe, and the reason why he wanted to talk about Power Rangers in the first place.
So the thing is, I like in all of the Power Ranger Power Rangers world verse lore. Like I think I'm least all about is the Megazords, because I'm just like, yeah, we know they're gonna show up. We know they're gonna be there for 2 minutes, and they're gonna overexplode everything, and
doesn't always work out that way. Usually, sometimes they get their butt kicked.
Yeah, okay, very rarely. We just gotta stomp on it because it's gonna grow big, and after it grows big, we stomp on a kaiju fight. Don't get me wrong, there are some Zords that I like a lot, and as I think about this top 5 list that I made, I'm like, I see some other ones that I probably should have added in here, but it's fine and it's okay because we're gonna do the thing. Things gonna get done.
This will never come up again. Nobody's gonna stop you on the street. Like, I can't believe in your top 5 Megazords you never put this one, and you're gonna be like, I don't think that's ever gonna happen. So I think it'll be okay.
It'll happen. It always does.
But all right, would you like to start off with your number 5 that we can see on screen?
Sure. You totally should pull out like a black screen or something around before
the reveal. I could.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, my number 5 is the iconic Megazord, but the Megazord battle mode where he fuses with, Mastodon, Triceratops, and Saber-Tooth Tiger, because we don't have like the rest of the Rangers in this, and he can't be, because I was gonna say Megazord by himself, but unfortunately he's not considered a Megazord by himself. So we had to go and fuse, and if we fused, we did fuse with like the coolest ones, minus Zack, which he's okay, I guess. But no, he's in there. He's the Mastodon. He's in there. I just don't know where he is, but he's in there for sure. Anyway, so yeah, there's like a lot of different forms. And there was the Mega Dragozord too, which I think might actually be the better one. But yeah, it was the Green Ranger Zord. It was Tommy, like evil and green, the Sixth Ranger, all this stuff. Yeah. So it was a good time, and I feel like he had to be in the ranking. So that's why he came in at my number 5. He's also such a cool Zord, and I had a toy of him, and he did work. And he had a flute that summoned him.
The flute is always a plus. Mm-hmm.
He was Mecha Flute Godzilla. That's the coolest thing ever. How do you top that? Yeah. So dope.
Okay. For my number 5, I would like, I don't know what that was. I would like to introduce the RPM Ultrazord. So I still need to go back and actually finish RPM because I really did vibe with that series while it was airing on a channel I could watch. For some reason, it stopped airing on a channel I could watch. I don't know where it went. I will have to do research. But I really like this design. I kind of liked the RPM Zord on its own. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. Nothing too crazy. But seeing this final one, it's really cool. And I like really cool things, which is why it's my number 5. Don't really have any personal attachment to it quite yet. Maybe I will when I eventually go back and just binge all the Power Ranger series whenever I retire or whenever that will be. But I don't know. I just think it's really neat and cool, and that's really the only reason it's on the list.
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you. RPM I never rewatched it. I got through it once, and I was like, well, I don't have to do that again. Like, as I do my...
That's fine. Not everything needs to be rewatched at some point. I just never got to finish it, which was unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, something about me is I tend to go and do rewatches every now and then. I would do Power Rangers rewatches a lot and other things. But I just, it looks dope. It looks like it's there to save a nation. So
to save the last piece of humanity in the post-Terminator apocalypse.
Yeah. So shout out to that. But that's a good number 5 choice.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What's your next one?
Okay, so my number 4 is kind of like an obscure one that I feel like people would know, but they also wouldn't know. And it's kind of shocked me because I felt like out of this universe and out of this era of Power Rangers, I would have picked a different one before I got to this one. But in turn, remembering this and thinking about some of the scenes that occurred and whatnot, I was like, yes, this is the obvious choice for number 4, and that is the Omega Max, Delta Max Megazord. So, this
Super
Zord,
Ultra Deluxe Max Edition. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So basically, it's a fusion of the Omega. We have so since my screen is being shown, we have the Omega Cycle, which is the Omega Rangers futuristic Zord that he came back with. And it's kind of like just a motorcycle, like a police cycle. It has these little fists on it. Because it can transform into the Omega Max Megazord. Where it still has fists. But it's kind of cool and dope and everything. And then you get the Megazord to ride on top of it. And you're like riding through the town, doing all this stuff. It's super crazy. And then they fused again. And you're like, bro, how flexible is this? I do think it's funny, though. Like, you just have 2 Zords just sitting on top of it. Like, they serve no purpose. They're just, like, sitting up there.
We couldn't figure out where to put this on top.
Yeah, but, like, you got this super cool Zord that's, like, a mixture of all of, like, the Rangers. Well, air quote all of them until the other ones are introduced. But you got our original 5, and then you got Omega Ranger 6. And this is such a good finisher. Like, it's got the hyper cycle mode where it just becomes super fast and has blades and katanas pierced from its arm and just speed blitzes you. It's got a punching attack where it's full power where it charges up. It's and it jumps and fights. It's just such a cool Zord, man. And it's how does 9,600 tons just move like that? I don't understand.
How does it not move without making the ground crumble underneath,
Yeah, I'll leave that one to science.
I just repaved this road. Now there's giant Megazord footsteps. We'll just say there's an anti-gravity system inside all these things that they kind of just, that way they don't break everything. We'll just say that. Okay. Is that all you have to say about the...
Yeah. Well, okay, Megazord, I felt like that was enough. Yeah.
Okay, no, I was just making sure. I didn't want to run you over.
Yeah,
well...
You shouldn't have tried.
For my next one, it does count as a Megazord because it's its own Megazord from Time Force. Q-Rex, Quantosaurus Rex. Always really enjoyed how this... How do I put this? No, I was going to say slightly derpy, but I guess that would be slightly accurate because it kind of moved. We're like, when the Quantosaurus got introduced, I don't think I ever even expected it to be like its own kind of Zord thing. Even in its Q-Rex mode, it's quite a fearsome force to be reckoned with. Like, it just goes up to the bad guys and bites them and throws them around. And then it's got the shoulder cannons that shoot. But then, of course, it transforms. I think if I scroll down here we go. He's got a rocket launcher. What is this? He's got a rocket launcher with rockets, and then he's got these
what is this? A rocket launcher?
He's got little laser cannons and stuff. That's cool. I was not expecting that. I just the Quantum Ranger and the Quantosaurus Rex just are. That was like a highlight of my childhood. I was like, that's the best thing ever. That's so cool. Little did I know there were much cooler things awaiting me as I grew up. But that's why it's only a number 4. I feel that, though.
Mm-hmm. But he like just showed up out of nowhere and was like, yo, I'm the true Red Ranger. And I was like, what? Because didn't like Science make that? Like it was a copy of the other Zords and organization he was working for, and like used Science to make like the Zord and the Morpher, correct?
I remember I think their team had created it, but I think it was deemed too unruly. So they sent it back all the way to the past to fight other dinosaurs for some reason. I don't know why. I remember they had to go back to like the dinosaur age to like go find it because that's where it got sent, and that's really about all I remember. But I do remember like there just wasn't the right person to wield all the quantum power that they had. They never really touched back on the quantum power thing, but yeah, I was like, why are you gonna send? Why are you sending this Megazord, this Zord, all the way back to the dinosaur age? And surely nobody will dig that up in the future when it eventually runs out of power. But no, I really liked it, and it was really cool. And again, I like really cool things, and that's why it's on this list of mine.
I feel that.
What's your next one?
Okay, so my number 3 is something that's very near and dear to my heart from a child. It's from my favorite Power Ranger series. Yes, you know what that is. Lightspeed Rescue. Let's go. It's like maybe tied for number 1, but it's number 1. So let me tell you, these people, Lightspeed Rescue, man, they had listen. They had the drip, they had the Zords, they had it all. Like, so the rail system is what they used to deploy their other droids and everything. And then at some point they're like, yo, screw it. We just go make the whole rail system a Megazord. And when I say like make it a Megazord, they made it a Megazord. Like, you got these giant containers that rise up, and then these just shift and turn into like Zords? Like what? And you had and then they would like fly off into space too, which was like crazy. They would like fly in the sky.
I forgot about that. It's like you see these trains, now they're gonna launch themselves.
Like and then the cockpit was just so clean too, like in the season.
Mm-hmm.
You had like, oh my gosh, bro. You had the Red Ranger elevated a little higher than everybody to call commands. Then you had the Green Ranger and the Blue Ranger right in front of them, and then the pink and yellow in the back. Like, oh my boy, that was destiny.
Can I share a secret with you?
Yes.
My number 3 was also the train.
Oh wow.
So, we did not plan this at all.
We did not. Like it's such a good Megazord, man, and it's like.
Well, so like even looking at it, you can still see like it still represents like the different colors and stuff. So you got the red, the blue, the pink, the yellow, the green. It's all right there. And even then, I think this thing was what's the weight on this? Because I know it was definitely bigger because it had to carry the other Zords.
It was 150.
Power's 10 million.
Yeah, which is crazy, but it was 150,000 tons. Or yes, my math is all jacked
That's
up.
okay. I can't read numbers either without decimals, so
I'm just like whoopity.
It was, like when this happened, I said, "Yo, is this threat so big? We need the trains, the things that carry the Megazords to come in."
And they showed up, bro.
Because it's been done before in Power Rangers, but I think here it was just kind of like I guess I just never expected it to come back, this kind of whole thing. So I said, "Oh, this is gonna be a thing from now on that we might have to look out for." And here you go. Lo and behold, it came in. It had what did it have? Missiles.
Yeah, it just had missiles that was just shooting out of the sky. Like it was crazy.
That's really all I remember is that it had missiles and maybe one like super laser beam. I really do like the other honorable mention to the other Megazord in Lightspeed Rescue when all 6 Rangers combine theirs together. I just
you
can
mean
never
the
remember.
Max Solar Zord?
Yeah, but see, there you go, that one, the Max Solar Zord right there. It was just cool. I said, "Yo, what?" I thought they was only separate. I didn't think they can go like put together.
Yeah, and you had like the fact that his sword was just chilling on the like other side of the sun, just charging was like wow to me. I was like, what? The science on that is crazy, but what? Like, it was pretty dope. Like, it's just oh my gosh, like.
Did they have to use the rocket ship to launch the trains in space to transform? Was that a thing, or did the trains just do it themselves? I really don't remember.
I think they just reached a certain speed and went up there because they flew off the rails.
Okay.
So, yeah. The science is kind of iffy, but then again, there's no science. So, but yeah.
The science is still out, but. I mean, as a kid who really did just, having a brother who liked trains as well, I don't know. I was like, yo, the trains. Apparently, there was a whole Power Ranger series where they had the rail system, but because we don't have public transport here in America, that just never aired for some reason.
Man, we always take it L's.
I was like, there was a whole train Power Rangers that I missed out on it. What? Ugh. No, gosh, Lightspeed was so good. I think a lot of stuff that happened in Lightspeed kind of set precedents for stuff that would happen later on. Just of like, we're combining all those Zords together, and we're actually gonna, again, not that it was the first time it happened, but we're gonna use the thing that carries the other Zords, and it's gonna be a thing now in the series to look out for. And you're like, oh, okay, cool, works for me.
Yeah. It was just kind of indescribable because it was like, we've got, like, I remember the episode when it happened. It was like, we've got something else for you. It's like, what is it? And then it's like, oh, nope, it's the actual containers. And yeah, it was speechless. Wow.
Slight apology if anybody who can hear my mic, if all of a sudden you hear a really loud engine roar outside, because someone who owns some stupidly loud truck lives next to our apartment for some reason. So
yeah,
there's that. And he likes to go out at like 9 o'clock, come back at 2 a.m.
You know, like, today's not a holiday. I was like, even on today, I was like, oh wait, it's not a holiday.
He just does it randomly, or whoever it is in that truck.
Yeah.
What's your next Megazord, sir?
Okay, my next Megazord for my number 2 spot is, of course, the Power Rangers Ninja Storm Hurricane Megazord.
There you go, mate. You did it again.
Also, listen, sir. I explained the last one. You explain this one. Go ahead.
Okay. So, when Ninja Storm was happening, and all the Megazords, which, by the way, I'm going to say I've never seen a Power Ranger series quite do this as well since Ninja Storm, where they kind of have different weapons show up at different times. So, like, they had these little spheres that they could put. Different from Wild Force. Wild Force, they were like glass pearls. In Ninja Storm, they had these little spheres you could put in the slot and launch it out, and they shot it out the Megazord, and all of a sudden you got a bee whip thing. I don't really remember what the bee did. It was something like that.
Me neither. It was like
which
a spin
gave
ball.
Yeah, I really don't remember, some spinning top thing, which gave the base Megazord for Ninja Storm a lot of flavor. And I know there's another mode after this, but I don't think it's quite as clean as when the Samurai Megazord combines with the... Remind me of the name of when it was the Beatles and the base Megazord put together. Is it just the Storm Zord or something?
Yeah, it was a Storm Zord. So,
okay.
Yeah.
When they when they came together. So you're like, oh, okay, all right, that's pretty cool. And then you had the Green Ranger Samurai Zord come on top, and it was like, yo, this design, look at it. It's sick. Like, you got these little horns up top here that, oh gosh, get out of here. You got the horns up top here, and then you got like the side shoulder spikes. And it's kind of like giving the best of both worlds in a way. But
it
like,
is legitimately such a beautiful Zord. It combines the three groups, the Thunder Rangers, the Green Ranger, and then the Storm Rangers.
Because you could see the Storm Zord, like the Megazord's wearing it like armor. So it's like a black armor, which like looks really cool. But then you could see like the base of the normal Storm Zord. It was just, I can't remember. Didn't they use that in more than one episode? Was it like, I really can't remember.
They used the Hurricane Zord in more than one episode?
I want to say because it wasn't just the final one, was it? Because I think they used it once and then they used it again for the final. Because then there was
the Hurricane Megazord got used a few times.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it did. So we got to see this bad boy in action a couple of times. That's what I was like. I could have sworn it was more than once that we saw it. Usually, this kind of thing is like, oh, it's only for the last episode or the episode before last before we do the grand finale thing. It was cool. And then it literally summons a hurricane.
Which is wild. It's just like...
It's just like, screw everything, hurricane.
It is just a wild thing. It's just like, you just gotta sit there and take it. It's so wild. Like... I remember when we first saw like Cam show up in the Samurai Star Megazord by itself, how strong it was. I was like, yo, listen, nothing's gonna beat him. So, and they're like,
nothing's gonna beat him, but what if we combined it with the other Zords? And you're like, oh,
yeah,
spicy.
It's such a dope Zord. It's one of my favorites for a reason. It's so good. It's so good.
It is just so cool. Like for absolute no reason. Didn't really like the big stampede mode or whatever. I think that was like the final attack. They always include those as separate modes, but I feel like they're not really there long enough to kind of be like, oh. It just didn't look as cool as me as this one here.
Yeah. Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
But no. You got anything else to say about this guy right here?
It's dope. It was cool seeing the Ninja Storm and the Beatles and just the samurai. Everybody worked together. Just make such a dope Zord.
Indeed. I feel like our last ones are going to be different, though.
They have to be.
I'll be shocked if they're the same. I'll say that. What's your number one there?
My number one would be... Are you ready for it?
I'm ready. Bring it on.
Okay. My number one is back to Lightspeed. It is the Lightspeed Megazord, bro. It is... So let me tell you why. It is made of the coolest, rescue Zords. It's got Pyro 1. It's got Aqua Rescue 2. It's got the Flying Arrow Rescue by the Space Cowboy Joel 3. It's got the Haze Rescuer, which can go over anything, 4. And it's got the Med Rescue Bay. And each one serves a purpose. And in the first episode, we get to see... Not only do we get to see these individual Zords doing work, because I feel like so rarely you get to see the Zords doing their stuff. It's always we just gotta form the Megazords. Nobody's out here doing the real work. So it's really cool to see these doing things individually on their own, and then you mess around and you get the Hydro mode, which is when 3 Zords kind of fuse together. and you got Joel up here kind of like picking up the Red Ranger, flying over him, and they're spraying water everywhere. And you're like, what's happening? What's going on? Like, can this get any more BA? And then Joel starts like flying up while his bottom half isn't moving. And you're like, is that a face? And then he lands into Rescue 1. And then we get the dang freaking Lightspeed Megazord with ladder arms, bro. Like, that is
the ladder punchy arms, man.
That is so cool. Like, that was so dope. Were you just like, bro? That was so dope. Like,
very thematically. I forgot about the sword. Sword messes me up. That symbol flashes on the sword and then goes whooshing, whooshing. You know.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
It was such a. Oh yeah, because they do the ring of fire. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
I think thematically, the Lightspeed Megazord is super dope. Just like, and having the Zords not only just kind of be like, oh yeah, I have a car, and you have a helicopter, and you have a bigger car. You know,
yeah.
Like, no, these Zords actually hold individual purposes. So if we need to go out and rescue and do things, we can.
And I love, like, in so many of the episodes, you see like the ladder arms like punching through a burning building, and like you'll see the Rangers like in it, like in the ladder arms. I'm like, thank you for being practical.
It's actually, I think I do remember that. Yeah, because they were actually out there rescuing people, which, again, super dope theme for Power Rangers. I'm surprised they didn't think of it sooner.
Alas.
But I really do like it when the Lightspeed Megazord fuses with the Solar Zord. Really cool moment. Blew my mind. Always be like top 10 moment.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. And like, this was just so iconic. This is just so iconic. What's your number one, Strange? I'm anxious to see.
My number one. While the series might not be my most, I don't know. I'll just go ahead and show you. It's the Isis Megazord from Wild Force.
What the fudge nuggets?
We talked about this. So
I know we talk about it. Every time I see it, it's still like, wow.
So let me talk about Wild Force here for a moment. It was such a bonding moment for like me and my family, at least the kids of the family, because Wild Force was when we really could all get together and just kind of watch it and watch them do Wild Force things. While the series itself is kind of mostly unremarkable, I do remember. I don't know. I feel like should I go back and rewatch it? I don't know. I don't really remember. It was just the next step up for Power Rangers. It was the new series that Shiny knew. I'll watch all the cool things happen. But then they combined towards the end of the series all of the new Megazords they got, specifically the Falcon, the Armadillo, I forgot about that one, Giraffe, Rhino, and Deer, and it made this flying Megazord, which was probably the most powerful one that they had, surprisingly, because before this, it was the Gorilla Zord with the bears. Right, it was the Gorilla Zord with the bears, and I can't remember what the legs were. It's like it wasn't the elephant. Elephant was something different. And then you also had the Wolf Rangers Megazords. What he got, apparently he got like a Predazord, which I really don't remember that one at all. I missed that one. I missed that week, I guess. And then, just Animus. If you remember Animus, that was a cool Zord design, and also the one my stepbrother had, which I was super jealous of. Really cool for no reason, only to show up for like one episode, I think, and then not be there anymore.
Well, Animus was like the spirit of the
he was
Animarium, right?
Yeah, he was the spirit of the island, the floating island they were on. Yeah, there was like a whole thing. Base Megazord was cool. I mean, it had a shark forearm. That's pretty cool, right? They're just... I think that one... I think Wild Force impressed me with just the amount of Zords they had. And they all kind of had their own little personality as well. Like, you know, it's like, hello, Lion Zord. He's like, you know. Or
yeah, no, I did like the fact that it was like they were like wild. They had to be tamed. And then once they were like tamed, they knew what people wanted more than themselves relationship-wise. But that's fine. If you know what I'm saying.
Just the designs of the Zords, you know, besides the Gorilla Zord, I thought that was okay. They were really cool. Like the wolf and the alligator Zord, Disco, the Isis Zord, Animus and all that.
Yeah.
I just really like their designs. I mean, I think thematically it fit for them. Their designs are really cool when they work together. And I really like that they were all kind of like... Because I know we talked about before the podcast how we're like, you know, the Dino Thunder Megazord and the base Ninja Storm Zord to an extent. They have one Zord take up 80% of the body, which to me, I'm like, I don't really like that. That's kind of lazy in my eyes. You just stuck one arm and a helmet on top, and there you go. They're combined now. But I'm like, but it's like 80% one Zord. That
yeah.
So I think I like Wild Force for that. Granted, the Alligator Zord and the Wolf Zord kind of do that, but that was, which like that one's not my favorite for the reason I just stated, because the alligator's literally 90% with the wolf arm.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, okay, that was cool the first time, and then they just kept doing it. I'm like, okay.
I think this is why we just don't bring giant pots and stuff to, school. Or work. Or anywhere.
Wow, is this thing more powerful than the Hurricane?
Probably.
That's wild. I don't even know how they're measuring this thing. Well, this thing's like 10,000.
Yeah, I don't really want to know how they're measuring it, because
60.
That just makes me worry about everything, to be honest.
I'm like, how do you measure? Where are they getting these numbers?
Experts, weeaboos.
Now I'm curious to see who has the most powerful Zord. But yeah, that's the reason why I have this Megazord on here as my number one from Wild Force. Just, I really liked the designs in Wild Force, and while I love Lightspeed Rescue and all that, the Megazord designs in Wild Force, they were plentiful and cool for the most part.
Wild Force was a solid choice, and I did like all the regular Zords. I'm a sucker for any time the Zords are like actual animals, or like, something not just mindless robots.
Mm. Except for Lost Galaxy, when they're not robots. When they're regular animals, they're ugly.
Don't want to talk about it.
But I think that's going to do it here for today. I don't know. What are we going to do next time? Well, we'll probably be out of town, so it probably will be an evergreen episode for you guys. We're going to spin that wheel again. I guess we'll convene after that, because we're going on vacation.
Yeah, vacation, and don't ask where we're going, because we're not going to tell you, for our own safety.
Yeah, we don't want to get mobbed or mauled, or just people hounding us for autographs.
Yeah, which is mobbed or mauled, but yeah, I got you.
Oh, okay. All right. I was on the right page. All right, well, you could find me on the Twitterverse at StrangelyENT. Just look me up, and that's where I'll post things about videos and whatnot. You can see all the things there. Where can they find you, good sir?
You can find me #Dreads on Twitter. That's the only place I am right now. But we'll see if anything changes in the near future. So, yeah.
All right. Well, hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you later.